What is up? What is up? Welcome back to another NFL Rundown brought to you courtesy of Run Pure Sports and Run Pure Bets. What a wild Sunday we had yesterday in the NFL. The Titans got the upset. The Packers, they hung tight, right? Then we also saw the Buffalo Bills fall, the Dallas Cowboys fall, of course. And hey, Tyler, one thing for me and you, right? The Cincinnati Bengals returned to sucking harder than a Titletown, Texas Tinder date. Title, you're looking nice and relaxed today. How are you feeling about the NFL?
Yeah, week 9 was fun. It was very, very chaotic. A lot of things that we didn't think were going to happen happened. The Jaguars beating the Bills, Jordan Love and the Packers somehow staying in that game for most of it. Like I kept saying beginning of the year, like Chiefs are fine, it's going to be fine. But yeah, I mean, I don't know necessarily how fine they're going to be when they start playing good teams and stuff. So I don't know. NFL is absolutely crazy right now. What a crazy week it was. It was profitable over here, which is all I care about. So DFS went well. Excited to talk about the game. So
All right. Yeah, and it's funny, right? Because sometimes you think, I wonder what I'd look like out on the NFL field, right? And now I have the answer, Title. I'd look like Daniel Sorensen. I mean, the guy can't cover anybody. He looks like me, 5 yards behind anyone he's trying to cover. Tyler, what did you think of the day yesterday? Survivor pools are in shambles, but I saw that you went 2-0 with the official props you gave out for Run Pure. And overall, I was going through the tally of all the ones that we gave out. Another week above 500 with those props. What'd you think of the NFL, Tyler?
Yeah, I mean, it was a good week for the props. I mean, but for sides and totals, and if you're still in your Survivor League, kudos to you because
Yeah.
you must be picking blind because if you're doing this strategically, you landed on a landmine either last week or this week. As for the Chiefs, like Title was saying, hey, he's been saying they've been all right. They would be all right. I think they suck. I think they have one playmaker, and that's Tyreek Hill. Kelsey's stinks now. Mahomes is 50-50 balls turning into picks more than touchdowns. I mean, looking around the league, I think Tampa Bay's got one hand on the trophy, waiting to pick it up, and I think Brady's got one hand on the MVP. Have you ever seen a guy take a better lead in the MVP pool on a bye week than he did this week?
Yeah, that's a great point there.
Everyone around him stunk. Josh Allen lost to the Jags and stunk. Matthew Stafford lost to the Titans and stunk. Murray and Rodgers didn't play.
Yeah. That's a fantastic point there. Let's actually just jump into the week. So here's what we like to do on this show. I go through, I listen to all, the sports talk and watch some shows. I pick out what I think are the best questions we can grab from each game. Then we will start breaking down tonight's game. Tyler will give out some winning Monday Night Football props. And of course, Titletown will help us build a DFS core. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Let's jump into the Falcons Saints. There's another upset that I even left off, right? I mean, that was a big upset, and because of the other ones, it kind of got overshadowed there. So I guess my first question, I'll start with you, Title. We've kind of been down on this team, but I'm ready to maybe consider it. Falcons, can they make the playoffs?
they beat Trevor Simeon. I'm not. I'm not gonna go that far. They beat a backup quarterback. I'm still not a Falcons guy, so it's a no for me. But I will say Cordero Patterson is a complete stud, and he's not even getting his snap share isn't close to where it should be. Like he just is so effective when he gets snaps. Like it's nuts. So DFS wise, keep playing him at 3% when his price feels high. But other than that, I'm still not on the Falcons train.
What do you think, Tyler? Is it time to say this team's got a chance to make the playoffs?
No, I don't think it's that close. Maybe if they were in the AFC because the AFC looks like it stinks. But in this NFC, I don't think they got a chance. Just like Title said, they beat Trevor Simeon. It was a giant letdown spot for the Saints after they played tough last week. But, I mean, the bad beat from this game spread. The over-under was, 43? 20 points going into the fourth quarter total. Just for 32 to get hung on you in the fourth. That's got to suck for anybody on the under.
Yeah, that definitely was a rough under, and I can see why people would have liked that with the backup quarterback in there. Speaking of that backup quarterback, what do you guys make of the Saints? I didn't really do much with them. Like Title said, they beat a backup quarterback. Simeon's proven that's what he is. He's a backup, and give you a good performance for a week or two, but really not a starting caliber player. Did you downgrade the Saints at all, Tyler?
I personally didn't. I mean, I didn't have them really that high with Winston because they seemed like that like mystery team. Like they might play good one week, they might stink it up the next. So they were always middle of the pack for me. But the defense is legit. The quarterback play is going to stink for the rest of the year unless they figure out how to sign somebody. But I don't think they're going to make much noise this year.
What do you think, Title?
Yeah, I'm with Tyler. I didn't really have him as high up anyway with that Jameis loss. That's a big one. Simeon's not going to be the answer. Taysom Hill's not the answer, so I'm not expecting much.
All right, the Jacksonville Jaguars. We had dubbed them as one of the worst defenses in the league. The Bills, one of the best offenses in the league. They prevent the Bills from scoring a touchdown and win 9-6. They didn't even score a touchdown themselves. I think that Trevor Lawrence is getting better. You can see he's going to be good, right? Let's put him in a better situation. Probably a better coach is necessary, and of course some more weapons. But hey, great performance by the defense yesterday. I think Lawrence is getting better every week. Obviously, they're out of the playoffs, but can they make a run and be a team that we can bet on, especially against the spread, since they'll be grabbing points as the season continues? What do you think, Title?
Tyler and you are definitely better for that. Like I said, I'm more DFS. I'm probably never going to bet the Jaguars this year, but it makes sense. I mean, Lawrence is getting better. The defense absolutely looked phenomenal yesterday. They played with heart. They flew around the field. Like they looked like a fine football team. So yeah, I wouldn't be opposed to betting on the Jags, especially as dogs. Now, this game was absolutely insane. Obviously, the Josh Allen had a career day, but it wasn't the Josh Allen everybody knows about. And the jokes were going around forever. Red Zone, Scott Hansen was loving that. But it was literally the Bills. I mean, they came in as Super Bowl favorites or second, like Super Bowl favorites coming into the week. And that's really bad. I'm curious to hear what Tyler says about the Jacksonville and Buffalo, but I don't know. I don't really know what to say about that game. That caught me off guard for sure.
Yeah, I didn't even downgrade the Bills. I think everyone's got a flat week, and I don't mind even throwing that one out. Of course, the numbers will go in for the model, but in my mind, I'm not downgrading this team. Other than what the numbers are going to dictate. But the Jags, I'm tempted to upgrade Tyler, but I'm worried I'm falling for fool's gold. What do you think? What are you doing with this Jacksonville number?
They're staying right where they're at for me.
So they still suck, and this is just a Bills letdown?
I think so. I mean, you look at it, Josh Allen threw 2 picks. He lost a fumble. He also fumbled another time that they managed to recover. Jacksonville didn't really beat up on him like you would hope they would. Lawrence got hurt during the game, which it was nice to see him come back and continue playing. But I'm not looking to back a quarterback that only threw for 118 yards in this game. His best receiver was his tight end, 4 for 60 yards. And his kick returner was his next best receiver with 3 catches for 27 yards. So, I mean, they pulled off the victory, but I'm not looking to back this team at anything under double digits.
All right. Well, a sense of normalcy was returned to my world as the Browns absolutely stomped the Cincinnati Bengals. This was the team I expected, the team that couldn't stop anybody. Jamar Chase went back to dropping passes like it was preseason. We'll start with you, Tyler. What do we make of this team? Is Nick Chubb really the heart of this team, or were they just excited to be free of the stench that is Odell Beckham?
I think it was a little of both. Chubb had his big game, 140 yards, 2 touchdowns. But I also think it was that statement game of we don't need Odell. Number 1 rated quarterback this week, spread. Let me hear you say his name.
Baker Mayfield.
That's what I want to hear. You shit on him all year. Now he's number 1. We just blew right over his name that first go through, but they get the W. I mean, since he looks like they're coming back to normal, but I mean, Jamar Chase has slowed down after them big couple weeks.
Yeah, definitely. Title, what did you think of that game? And, we talked about Chase. He was the DFS monster. Price is going up. Production's going down. Are you safe staying away from him now?
Oh, no, I'm not staying away. He easily could have had 2 touchdowns. I mean, he dropped some passes, which he can't do. But you catch those, you're sitting at a nice 18, 19 DK points at 5%. So I'll definitely keep playing Chase. His target share's there. His yards per or the depth of each target's there. So I like Chase. But, yeah, I played Chubb on both sites in cash spread. So as much as I was liking the Bengals a little bit, at the end of the day, I mean, they can't tackle very well. They have been regressing. I still like these Bengals. I'm still lower on the Brown. Like Nick Chubb is definitely the Browns' best player. The offense goes through him. He's a stud when Crean comes back. I still don't think they're true Super Bowl contenders. I'm lower on them than Tyler, JSU, and some people. As far as the Bengals, though, yeah, I mean, I like the Bengals. I still think they're going to make the playoffs, but they're definitely.
I don't know, Title.
I don't know.
That's
either.
a tough division. 5-4, they're now in last place because if technically the Browns would have that tiebreaker. They're 5-4. 2 weeks ago they were in first place, 5-2. Now they're 5-4, last place. That is a very tough division.
Judging by the AFC, though,
it's going to be fun.
You if all 4 teams got in.
Yeah, I'm not used to that 7 and not 6, right?
The only other wild card team that I think could take one of them spots is New England.
Yeah, and we'll talk about them later because
division, Titans win the division. I mean, maybe the Chargers, Raiders, and Chiefs fight for those spots.
I was going to say one of them probably going to get it.
But I mean, outside of those teams, the AFC North has got all the wild card teams in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the Bengals, Tyler, what do we do with this team, right? So we were down on them. They look great. We kind of came around, right? We gave them their props.
I think we screwed up, Spread. I think we should have stayed where we were at first because I think they're going to regress to that team that can score a bunch of points, but they just give up a bunch.
Yeah, man. It's I don't know what to do with this team. I'm completely staying away from gambling on all their games. I'll just tune in and watch. I don't know what to make them because okay, 2 scenarios, and I didn't look even at the schedule to see who they play next week. I could see them playing really good or really bad, and neither of it would surprise me, right? They have like this huge variance in my mind of where they are as a team, where certain teams that, I have dialed in, right? Like I think the Bills are really good. I think the Jags are really bad, right? I mean, these things are constant. The Bengals, I have no idea what to make of. So that'll be something fun for us to monitor, our opinions of the Bengals as we continue through this fun NFL season. Let's talk about a big upset. The Broncos beat the Cowboys. I mean, as shocking as the upset was, the fashion in which they won was even crazier there. The Broncos just put it on the Cowboys. Titletown, what did you make of that game?
That game was hurtful, especially when I had 2 Cowboys in cash on DraftKings, had Zeke everywhere. Like, the Broncos just absolutely destroyed. I mean, they won every facet of this game. The Cowboys just didn't show up. The Broncos D played phenomenal. Dak, they couldn't get anything going. Couldn't convert 4th downs. Teddy Bridgewater managed the game. Melvin and Javonte played fine. The receivers were open, and then the Broncos just put on a clinic and played a really good football game. I didn't see this coming at all. I thought the Cowboys were going to put up points for sure. Big win by the Broncos. I'm not downgrade the Cowboys really and stuff. I still think this is a very talented football team, and they're going to be in the playoffs pretty far when it's all said and done. But what a statement for the Broncos.
Tyler, what did you make of this game?
I mean, just looking at the game, box score 2, Broncos had the better everything yesterday. Better receivers, better quarterback, better running backs, better defense. Javonte Williams finally had his breakout game, even though Melvin Gordon still out carried him somehow. But, I mean, Tim Patrick out-received CeeDee Lamb, so did Jerry Jeudy. Seems like Cortland Sutton kind of goes into hiding mode once Jeudy gets back on the field, but that offense is pretty loaded, and the Cowboys just seem like they just finally put up a dud. I mean, they've been hanging 30-plus points every week, winning games we thought they were going to lose. They were bound to have that flat spot, but I didn't think Teddy Two Gloves would beat him outright, Spread. I thought he'd cover the 10.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think I reserve moving my number on them. I want to see how they bounce back from this, right? Because this could easily just be a blip and they go back and they win by 17 next week and we are completely fine with it, right? In 2 to 3 weeks, we've completely forgotten this performance. How they respond, I think, is going to be really important for a team that obviously now has Super Bowl aspirations. Texans and Dolphins, Tyrod Taylor wasn't the answer. From the Dolphins side, a new quarterback seems to be imminent here at the end of the year for this team. I didn't really have much to talk about this game. You guys fine with skipping it, or did you have some poignant knowledge that you wanted to drop?
Let's go right back over it.
Yeah, let's go straight to the next one. And let's talk about my Las Vegas Raiders, who didn't play very well. And I wasn't surprised. If you looked at him this week, I mean, Derek Carr looked like, a close family friend had died, a family member had died, his spouse was cheating on him, right? I mean, he just had that glazed look that you've seen in your friends or coworkers when something really bad, unexpected happens in their life. This didn't surprise me. Now, I don't know where to take it from here. I don't know how long this lasts. So I guess, Title, I'll start with you. Do you think they can recover from this? Because I think that this affected the locker room a lot more than they're letting on.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think they can bounce back. Derek Carr's a great leader. Great. I mean, I trust him. I trust the supporting cast they have. I think they can bounce back. It was a tough spot. The Giants played okay. I mean, they didn't really make mistakes. Danny Dimes, 15 for 20, didn't turn it over. Vontae Booker, they had success on the ground, 21 for 99. Defensive game. I think they can bounce back. Finally, they got Waller back involved more, which they got away from for a little bit. So I think they can bounce back. But I definitely agree with you. This was a very tough week for Carr and company.
Yeah, Tyler, what do you think, man? I'm a little worried that this might be something that's going to be really hard for this team to bounce back from. Am I just being a little too pessimistic after years of watching the Raiders' failure?
Yeah, I think so. I think they'll be able to bounce back. I mean, okay. I think having the guy that can stretch the field, not having him this week was a little hurtful. That kind of slowed their offense down. Well, they just signed Deshaun Jackson. That's their new guy that's going to stretch the field.
Right.
I think the offense will just come right back to form. I mean, it does suck what happened, but I think the guys will be able to get over it and just keep going. They are professionals out there.
Yeah, I mean, let's hope.
And it's not like he was like a staple in the locker room. He was only there for 1 year. Like, it's not like Derek Carr went down after 8 years of being in the Raiders locker room.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a great point. The Giants, I just felt that they took advantage of a team in a bad situation. I didn't adjust my rating on them at all. The Vikings covered against the Ravens. That was the bet that I lost yesterday. Tyler had a nice little 3-1 afternoon. I fell to the Vikings, and I felt that, we had talked about it all week or all year season. We've talked about this, that this Vikings team is actually undervalued because they play really well and then they just don't win. I felt that way when I was watching the game in the first half, where I said, gosh, I talk about not underestimating this team, and then I went ahead and underestimated this team. I mean, Title, would you agree this is probably the most undervalued team, the Vikings, because they just have all these close losses against really good football teams?
I couldn't agree more. I mean, Justin Jefferson, I look at talent a lot in the NFL. Justin Jefferson, Dalvin Cook, Adam Thielen, a solid defense. Kirk Cousins, who, he's not top 10 or something, but he doesn't make too many mistakes. He's a fine quarterback. He's not going to kill you. You obviously hope you have better, but he has the talent around him, and they play with good teams. So I'm with you. I mean, they just keep losing close ones. They keep losing heartbreakers. 3-5 could easily be 5-3 without a doubt. It's tough being a Vikings fan. I can only imagine.
Yeah, and Tyler, one of the things we constantly say on all the shows, right? Whether or not we're on here, whether or not we're on the live show, right? We say the Ravens are bullies. The Ravens are bullies. They haven't been covering and beating people up. Are they a little less of a bully? What did you make of this game?
I mean, I think the kick return saved the cover for the Vikings. The kick return touchdown they got. Mm-hmm. You take that off the board because those don't happen every week. They cover this game by 10.
Okay.
I mean, outside of Dalvin Cook, Cousins only threw for $190 and 2 touchdowns. Jefferson had 70 yards. Their offense really didn't do much. And the Ravens sleptwalk half the game. So, I mean, this looked like the Colts game all over for the Ravens. They waited till the second half, and then they flipped on the switch and just slowly came back and won the game. But I think they're still bullies. I just think that one play is what kept away from the cover, was them running that kickback.
All right, so Tyler says don't be afraid to lay it with the Ravens against the weaker teams. And hey, maybe that'll give us a little bit of value, right, with them not covering every week. So something to keep in mind moving forward. All right, I've been waiting for this one, gentlemen. So every week I've been saying, hey, watch out for this Patriots team. They can sneak in a playoff win. They're getting better every week. The quarterback is competent and the defense is just getting better and better. Title, what do you think? Are you ready to join me? I think the Patriots can win a playoff game. What do you think?
I think they can. I do think they can. Now, if I had to bet, if it was even money, I say yes, they win one. No, they don't. I'm probably going to still say no, they don't. But yeah, they run the football. They play good defense. They win the time of possession. Mac Jones doesn't make mistakes. You can win a playoff game like that. So I'm with you.
What do you think, Tyler? You ready to join me? Are they capable of getting a wild card playoff win?
I think they're more than capable of that spread. Look at the AFC. I don't think there's like a true leader out of that. Everyone's going to call Buffalo it, but not even just after what we've seen last night. They played a pretty soft schedule. That's pretty much 2 games in a row they sleptwalk. Mm-hmm. I think New England could win the AFC.
Wow.
The defense.
I got a friend who's got a 21 ticket for that. He got before the season.
Yeah, I'm trying to look it up now to see what odds are on it. Let's see.
Bet you it's at least still between 8 to 12.
16-1.
Wow.
Chargers, Chiefs, Ravens, Titans, Bills are in front of them. Their defense is good enough to win some of these games too against these teams ahead of them.
And if you're the Bills, that's the nightmare matchup, right? Since they know each other so well.
The nightmare for the Bills is playing the Patriots in the conference championship. Mm-hmm. Somehow crawling out of that game to the Super Bowl with Brady waiting for you.
Oh, wow.
Herbert's getting there.
Man, okay. Let's move straight on to it then. The Panthers, they suck. Darnold's done. That's our Panthers section. Let's move on to the Chargers and Herbert. And my question for them is, I love the Chargers, but how far can they really go with this level of run defense? I mean, the guys, they're giving up 5-something yards per play. Title, how far can Justin Herbert go with his team giving up 5 yards a carry on the other side of the ball?
Y'all are talking about Patriots and maybe Super Bowl, how bad the AFC is. They can get to the Super Bowl. I got faith in Herbert. I got faith that, I think it was 2 weeks ago, Tyler was saying it, I'd feel better if the defense can't stop the run the first half of the season, rather if they just don't have the cornerbacks and the athletes to play in the secondary that are just going to get torched by the pass. So adjustments have to be made. I mean, we've seen the Chiefs do it multiple times in the past where they've been so bad defensively against the run and scheming, and they make it work. I obviously love this offense. I love everything they got going on. So, if you let up 5 yards a carry, you're not going to get to the Super Bowl. I'm still banking that they can fix that. I obviously have my Chargers future. I like the Chargers.
What do you think, Tyler? I had the Chargers yesterday. I thought that was going to be an easy victory. Sweating it till the end there. And, of course, that is a tough situation, though, on the road in a tough spot to play in Philadelphia, going against a very tough physical team. They got the job done. What do you think of the Chargers' chances, man? How far did they go? I'm downgrading with this run defense. I think they struggle against the more elite teams. What do you think?
Yeah, back to what I was saying a few minutes ago. They just can't tackle. Their defense just cannot tackle running backs. Boston Scott, Jordan Howard, they ran all over them. Some of these other running backs in the AFC, they're just going to tear them up in the playoffs. I mean, we've seen Chubb gouge them. Mm-hmm. Lamar Jackson will have his way with this defense. But their offense, on the other hand, is going to put up a ton of points. So if their offense gets hot, I could definitely see them making the Super Bowl. But they got to fix that defensive hole in the run game.
Title, are you targeting running backs going against the Chargers team in DFS?
The thing, I'm not going out of my way. Like this week, I wasn't going to play an Eagles backfield. I liked Hurts a little bit with his rushing upside. Yeah, if you get a Nick Chubb going against them or something, for sure. It's all matchup dependent. I mainly bet on I play the same running backs pretty much, the Zekes, the Kamars, the Chubbs. There's only so many alphas and true 3-down backs pretty much. Mm-hmm. I kind of concentrate them, and I take worse matchups with alphas more than the great matchups with sporadic carries and stuff, if that makes sense. But no, I mean, if you get a good running back against the Chargers, definitely take advantage of that.
All right. So, we've seen a lot of injuries here in the NFL, right? The Ravens got hit early, right? The Titans just lost Derrick Henry, right? So the Cardinals just beat the San Francisco 49ers without Kyler Murray, DeAndre Hopkins, AJ Green, Chase Edmonds. And if Rodney Hudson was out there this week, which I didn't notice, he's been on the injured list as well. So that's their starting center here. And then on the 49ers side, I keep hearing how great Kyle Shanahan is, but it's just because of the injuries. So I need you guys to tell me now, after Cliff Kingsbury beats him with Colt McCoy and those guys, how injuries are the reason that Kyle Shanahan can't get any wins in the National Football League. Title, start with you.
Yeah, I don't really know what to say. I keep saying with this team, I want to see Trey Lance in there. I'm the Trey Lance guy. It's not even like Jimmy G played bad though. I mean, 28 for 40, 326, 2. He had the nuts game script. Obviously, they're down 14-0 in the first. It's tough to win football games when you only run the ball 11 times. Eli Mitchell with 8, then Jimmy 1, Hasty 1, Ayuk 1. Like, can't win football games like that nowadays. It was nice seeing George Kittle back. Ayuk finally seems to be a part of this offense like we expected. I just want to see Trey Lance. I don't know. That's a bad loss, though. Losing to Colt McCoy at home, you can't be doing that.
What do you think, Tyler? I think this is, I thought that they'd have to keep Shanahan for the, just for the continuity with Lance. But I'm getting to the point where I don't know, man. Maybe this guy should just be an offensive coordinator. What do you think? Injuries no longer an excuse for Shanahan, right?
I'd be surprised if they don't let him go before the season ends. Like I could see it happening like this week or next week, depending on what happens on Sunday.
Wow, that would be wild. So Tyler's with me, and you know what's he's gonna go somewhere and just be a killer offensive coordinator. The same way Dennis Allen left the Raiders, and he's been with the Saints for like 10 years, and it's presided over one of the best defenses for the last 10 years. Maybe that's just what he is. He's a great offensive coordinator. Maybe not a great head coach. Maybe he'll get another opportunity. We will see. But yeah, me, because I've been anti-Kyle, I had a lot of fun watching that one yesterday, just because it kind of reinforced everything that I've been saying, and that's that everybody has injuries in the NFL, and I'm just surprised why Kyle gets this excuse and everybody, says, oh, it's because of the injuries, but no other coach in the NFL gets that excuse, right? They all are held to higher expectations, it seemed to me. The Packers and the Chiefs, so I jumped in on that one live because you could tell that once again the Chiefs were going to have problems moving the ball against the Packers defense. It seems to be getting better and better every week, and boy, it took a little sweat there. Packers could have easily just won that game outright. They missed a lot of opportunities, weird special teams errors too, right? Like touching the ball, fumbling punts and stuff. So I don't know, man. I'm ready to downgrade this Chiefs team and upgrade this Packers team, because once Aaron Rodgers is back with that defense, this is the best defense he's had in 5 years. Give me your takeaways from the game, Title.
This is by far the best defense he's had. When Jair comes back fully healthy, Stokes is a complete stud. Devondre Campbell, I mean, like, they finally got players. Special teams, can't do that with the backup quarterback and play that poorly on special teams. Defense kept them in the game. Jordan Love, I guess, this is why I said it was the worst pick of all time, taking him in the first round when they did. Not just because of him, just because of Rodgers and what it did to his whole career, like his career, his future with the Packers, how mad it made him, all this stuff. Like, why did they need to do that? Like, why wasn't Rodgers fine for the next 5 years, 6 years? Like, yeah, Jordan Love didn't look good. He looked really hurtful, to be honest. Easily could have won that football game. But at the end of the day, that just shows how good, I guess, Aaron Rodgers is, how much they need him. When he comes back, though, I'm a little biased, of course. I'm a Packers fan, but I think the sky's the limit for this team.
I would agree with you, and I thought it was a great opportunity, right? A lot of controversy swirling around Aaron Rodgers this week, right? Jordan Love could have really stepped in, right, and made some controversy, right? Imagine if he would have dropped 35 on a really bad defense, which I thought was a possibility, but unfortunately he said, hey guys, it's A-Rod or bust here if you guys really want to have a chance to make the playoffs. I don't want to judge him off one game. Obviously he's got a lot of potential and can get better, but the change is not imminent. Tyler, what'd you think of that game?
Yeah, I mean, the Chiefs suck. They're definitely downgraded. There's no way they're staying at the top of my power rankings. Patrick Mahomes isn't what everyone thought he was. He just had a couple good years. So the defense stinks on that side. Now for Green Bay, I think the one team in their way is Tampa Bay, because I think that's going to be the one team that they're going to have troubles with beating. Their defense is starting to come around. So Green Bay, I think, has the best defense in the NFC right now. I'm not sold on the Rams. I think they're a two-player defense. But, I mean, if Green Bay doesn't sit down in this offseason and rethink their thoughts and just pay Rodgers whatever he wants and give him whatever front office say he wants, they're screwed after this year. Jordan Love's not the answer. Some of the throws we've seen him make, the ball was flipping the wrong way. AJ Dillon had to pick a couple up off the ground on screen passes. I mean, that dude just sucks.
I think Rodgers he's too bold, like he's too hard headed. I think he wants to see Love. Not that he wants to see him suffer and do bad, but he just wants to throw in the brand. I'd be surprised if he came back, and it hurts to say.
What do you think gets him back? Like 80 million guaranteed.
See, I don't even think it's money.
Here's your front office say go trade for whatever receiver you want.
I just think it's the ego at this point. Like screw this, screw Gutensberg or whatever. It like just like you screwed me, I'm screwing you. Like this, he said last dance. Like I don't know. Rodgers doesn't talk to his family. He doesn't care about anything. Like
That
I just think.
True.
I hope I'm wrong. I really do because I already am expecting absolutely nothing for the next 15 years from the Packers if he's gone. And I mean, I think Rodgers is one of the best to ever do it. Like he's just insane, but like the drop off is out of this world.
If he leaves, where's he going?
Yeah,
I think he goes to Denver. Those receivers, the running backs now, all he needs is a little patches on the offensive line.
If the 49ers wanted to give Lance a little more time to be a backup and really try and do it, I think Rodgers would go back to San Fran too, where he grew up.
Yeah, I could see that.
A Kittle, Ayuk, Debo. I mean, that would be nasty over there, Bosa. But I don't know for sure. I hope he stays.
My favorite tweet last week, someone tweeted, Aaron Rodgers heard the vaccine could protect his family, so he decided he didn't want to get it.
Did you see the actual reason why he didn't get it?
Yeah, I listened to all that.
He had some kind of like, I think it's a blood condition or something to where he couldn't get the Pfizer and the Moderna one.
Yeah.
And the only one he was able to get was the Johnson & Johnson one, and then it was recalled, so he was like, screw that.
Yeah, I didn't really follow any of that. I was just trying to get those jokes off. I know he was on like Joe Rogan or Pat McAfee or something, but I didn't see it all.
Pocket Lamar and Chad, he goes, Adams will go wherever Rodgers goes. Yeah. And I actually think that's how it's going to be too. I think they are a package deal. There's no way Devontae stay. Obviously, like he was so frustrated yesterday. Balls that Rodgers would put on him, and like even really tough throws. I think Devontae after that game really was like, yeah, there's nobody that can do it. You get to
play with one of the best quarterbacks for your whole career. You ain't going to want to play with nobody else.
No, yeah, and definitely not what he saw yesterday. So I think, yeah, if Rodgers goes to a certain team, I think it's going to be a package deal as well. And Rodgers would take less money than what Green Bay would give him if Adams followed. I think. Obviously,
I agree with you. I think it's just he seems to be. He's got a little like. So he's from Chico up here, right? Yeah. Which is. It's about an hour and a half north of me, right? And Sacramento's, it's more of a city now. But when, because I'm close to the same age as him, a little older. But when we grew up, it was way more sleepy. And Chico was really, really kind of, good old boy town, So I'm not surprised that he's got that, like, stubbornness and that do-it-himself attitude that's present, like, in rural areas. And I think that he'll leave just to prove a point, It's not like... He's got enough money no matter what, right? I mean, like at this point, these guys, like if they want the most money, it's because they're like trying to buy a team or something, right? I mean, it's not not Rodgers, really a big issue for them. So, I'll be interested to see where they go. But for this year, I think the Green Bay Packers are definitely title contenders.
If you won a Super Bowl and dipped, that would be one of the craziest things ever. But I could totally see it too.
And he wore a Kawhi Leonard jersey on his way out. The Tennessee Titans got another upset, guys. Tyler, you talked me out of it. Hey, we thought they might cover. I didn't think they would win outright, man. Vrabel, right? You got to give him his props because he's not an offensive genius. He kind of gets looked over in all these top coaches. But now, boy, getting it done there, even without Derrick Henry, Tannehill looked pretty good. I had written this Titans team off as Super Bowl contenders. I was watching last night, and I said, maybe I moved a little too soon. Maybe they could win the AFC title. What'd you think? They looked pretty good last night.
Yeah, they definitely looked good. I'm still writing them off as Super Bowl contenders and that stuff with the Henry stuff. I'm not going to overreact too much for this one game, but, man, did they ever look good. Their defense was absolutely flying around. We haven't seen Stafford look like this and this confused all year. Like, this offense was shut down. So, the Henry downgrade or Henry being out absolutely changed everything for me. Now AP back there, Jeremy McNichols, Devontae Foreman, like those three aren't good enough to carry you to a Super Bowl. You still need to run the football in the NFL a little bit and establish it to get there. So they're not Super Bowl contenders for me, but they really did impress me, and one win closer to hitting the over prop for the year.
Tyler, what do you think of the Titans? Can they win the AFC? And what were your takeaways from that Rams team that I know you're not as high on as, say, like Jay and I are?
I give them about a 0% chance at winning the AFC.
Okay.
And
what are the Rams' chance?
The Rams, I mean, I'd say they're still like one of the top teams in the NFC, but they got to fix a couple of things. Their offensive line looked terrible yesterday. Mm-hmm. Jonathan Simmons was back there at pretty much every play. Mm-hmm. And as for the Titans' offense, I think they stunk too. They had a total of 194 yards. They were outgained by almost 200 yards. If it wasn't for their defense getting a pick six and another pick that stopped on the 1 yard line, like that's where all their points came from. Tannehill threw for $143 and was sacked 3 times and had an interception on top of that one touchdown. So, I mean, their defense won on this game just as much as the Rams just played so bad that they lost the game. Their offense didn't win them it.
That's a fair point.
Listen to these stats. If they played this game 10 times, time of possession, 32 minutes to 29 in the Rams' favor. Mm-hmm. Total yards, 350 to 194 in the Rams' favor. Passing yards, 253 to 125. Rushing yards, 94 to 69. First downs, 22 to 16. All in the Rams' favor.
Great point.
So, I mean, those couple interceptions, I think, flipped this game. Also, the 12 penalties to 4 in the Rams' favor screwed them, with a lot of those coming late in the game.
Yeah. Those are some great points there. So maybe I need to hold down on my Titans bandwagon. Maybe I won't go jump on that train as of yet. So great recap of the week, guys.
Talk you off another one though, Spread. I talked you off the win this week. They might go and win the Super Bowl now, and I'll have to hear about it all off season.
Oh no! You'll hear about it one day, and then I'll go back to complaining about when I don't cover by the NBA by a half point. You'll get more of that from me. So, guys, thanks for helping me. That was a great recap. Let's jump into tonight's game. The Bears are heading to Pittsburgh to take on the Steelers. I think the line is 7 right now. Let me see exactly where it's at. We know it can't move on game day. So you have a 6.5 on the legal books, FanDuel and DK. I have a -7 offshore with a total of 40. Tyler, let's start with you. This is your local team, right? You got to end with the team. You know, you head down to practice sometimes, kick it with Roethlisberger sometimes. What are you hearing on the inside info for tonight's game?
I mean, the defense is getting healthy. The Bears' offense stinks. Mm-hmm. So I think it's going to be one of them games where the Bears are just going to be tough to score points here. Maybe Fields makes something happen with his legs. But I just think even with Ben playing so terribly this year, this game is also at home. I think they win the game. Now, the covering the 6 is going to be another thing. I'm not sure on that. Probably going to just stay away from the spread. And what's the total at? What are you saying? Because I have props.
I see a 40, and the Bears team total is 16, Steelers 23. So they stole a point from us when they did the team totals. I don't know where that point went in the ether.
I'd probably lean under just because I don't see the Bears putting up more than like 10 to 17 points.
Don't you think that's the safest bet?
What, their team total?
The Bears team total under?
I would just rather take the full game under because I think the Bears are anywhere from 10 to 17.
Okay.
And I really hate that garbage time touchdown to screw me at 16.
Got you. Title, what are your thoughts on this game before we jump into some props and some DFS?
It's going to be gross. I'm not a Big Ben guy, but I'm not a Fields guy right now either. The Steelers defense with TJ Watt and company, I think it's going to make a tough day at the office for Fields. Their running game, I don't expect really to get going either. Like I like Khalil Herbert, don't get me wrong, but I think it's a Steelers sue. I think it's time of possession game. I think the Steelers keep it on the ground, some short passes, maybe a couple field goals. Defenses play well, so I'm expecting a lower score. I like the under too if I had to pick.
All right, and you've given out some, I mean, they're not rules. They're more like concepts of how to attack these showdown slates. but I have a feeling you might be going against some of the stuff that you've talked about, earlier this season on the show, just because of the way this game plays out. I'd love to hear how you're approaching this game. And I know we like to go heavy on the dog to get different, but boy, it's kind of hard to find a bunch of Bears to jam in this lineup. How are you approaching this NFL Showdown Slate on DraftKings?
Yeah, this is definitely an interest. Like yesterday, my theory going with the underdog 4-2 Titans was very, very contrarian, and it worked out. Like but man, looking at this, like I cannot pick 4 Bears that I like in my lineup. So instead of going that way, I'm just gonna onslaught the Steelers and go 5-1.
Oh wow!
Yeah, because 4-2 Steelers is gonna be popular. 3-3 is always popular. So I'm just going to go 5-1 and completely onslaught and try and get the one-off Bear. The one-off Bear is not going to be Fields because he's 10-4. Give me Najee Harris. Najee is going to be a staple in my lineups. Big Ben just loves to dump it down to him. They're going to keep it on the ground. So I'm paying up for Najee. I'm not going to play Fields. Big Ben, I'm fine not playing. Like I like Deontay Johnson more than Big Ben. And he's 600 more, and I expect him to be lower owned. So I'm going to go Najee and Deontay. I'm going to fade the quarterbacks in my single entry GPP tonight. I fine with Claypool. My favorite Bear actually is Darnell Mooney at 6.4K. Allen Robinson and Justin Fields just don't have that connection. It doesn't seem that 800 goes a long way for me. So I like Darnell Mooney. David Montgomery's supposed to be back for this game too, hey? Yeah, it looks like. Yeah. I'm avoiding the whole Bears running game. I wish he was out. Khalil Herbert I would have some interest in. He is expensive, though. Dave Montgomery's expensive. I expect as a cheap punt. I think some people are just going to go all the way down to Damian Williams. In tournaments, there's no reason that I'm going to go to Damian Williams, especially if he gets some ownership. I think the Bears' defense makes some sense at 2,600. I think the Steelers' defense makes some sense at 5,000. So I'm definitely on the defenses. I'm avoiding the Bears running game, avoiding Fields. So Bears one-offing wide receivers. Cole Kmet, 5,800. Like, man, I want to find that money for Darnell Mooney. I think kickers are fine in this game. Marquise Goodwin, probably not. Like, yeah, I'm going to go 5-1. I like Steelers defense for their price at 5,000. I love Najee Harris. He's going to be a safe in my lineups. I like Deontay Johnson as the other pay up. Claypool there at 9K. I don't mind. What about Freiermuth?
He's going to start.
Tyler. Yeah.
Ebron's out, so I don't hate that.
He's 7,000. Like, so he's expensive, but I mean, Big Ben likes him. He's a good tight end. He's athletic. Like, I think he makes for a pretty interesting low-owned option too. The price is definitely a little more than I want to pay, but to get you a little different, and he can fall in the box in a low-scoring game and get you there. So I think he's interesting.
If you want to be really different, they love their 2 tight end sets. Zach Gentry's going to be the other guy at 2,700. He had 5 targets last game. He falls in the end zone, you're golden.
All right, so he's 1,800. I'm going to put him as a core then. Najee Harris, Deontay Johnson, and Gentry is my core spread.
All right. I love it. And do you feel safe going 0 quarterbacks in this build? Are you going 5-1, 0 quarterbacks?
Yeah, I think so. You remember last week when he talked? I said I was fading Mahomes in single entry, and he didn't land up on the optimal. Now, granted, I didn't get everything right because who did I have? Someone got hurt early.
You threw Mahomes in there. Me and you were against each other, and you had Mahomes.
What? I said I was fading.
Are you not the Z Trivet?
For cash?
Yeah.
Yeah, cash games I played Mahomes. I'm talking tournaments.
Okay, got you. No, I was going to say because we matched in a cash and you had Mahomes in your lineup.
Yeah. Cash games, yeah, I'm talking tournaments. Cash games, okay. I'm gonna probably have Big Ben. Like I might have Fields. Like I'm talking tournaments getting different.
So cash games you have to play quarterbacks, you would say.
Oh, I almost never fade quarterbacks in cash games. Yeah. Okay. Because they have the ball so much, like their floor is just higher than them all. Cash games, you almost always play quarterback. Yeah, especially in Mahomes, I would never fade. Like, yeah, Big Ben, I can almost guarantee I'll have in my cash game today. Fields, maybe not because of the price, but Big Ben's definitely a cash staple. Tournaments, though, like because that's where it gets different because the ownership's going to be so high and people do just put their cash lineups in tournaments and stuff like that. I'm not going to play Big Ben in my single entry tournament. I also MME Showdown, so like I make 150, I make 20 lineups, I'm going to be way underweight on the quarterbacks in this game.
All
On
right.
DraftKings, it makes sense because like PPR, like Big Ben, he loves his short passes. He loves all that. A 5-yard pass, you get 1.5 points for the receiver that caught it. You get 0.3 or whatever for a quarterback throwing that. So I'm going to take that route. If I think it's lower scoring, if I think PPR means a lot, I think Big Ben and Fields are going to get ownership. I'm going to be on the underweight and fade approach for tournaments for quarterbacks.
Tyler, what are you looking at for props in this game tonight?
I mean, and talk DFS too. It's your team, so I'm going to take some notes too.
I mean, I built a lineup just now based off of what you said, and I mean, I think I got it.
All right, I like it.
I don't want to name everybody now, but
no, can't name everyone. Give a 3-person core in it.
Well, who'd you give out? Najee, Gentry, and Johnson.
Yeah, is that you got those 3 too?
I'll go Claypool, Santos, and Harris.
All right, I like it.
I think just like you said, the kickers are going to be valuable here.
Yep.
Lamar Jackson says it in the chat. Nagy's back. This offense ain't going to look like it did last week. So they're going to drive down the field. They're going to kick a ton of field goals. I agree with that look on the kickers. And the defensive look, I like that too.
Yeah, both defenses I think are good plays.
Yeah, and then looking at prop spread, I mean, Deontay Johnson plus 150 to score a touchdown. He catches all the slants. Chicago's weakness is their cornerbacks. Their run defense has been better. Give me him to score that touchdown. Give me a sprinkle at plus 800 for him to score 2 touchdowns. Let me see.
I like that.
His receptions are 6.5. He gets double-digit targets almost every game. I don't hate that. And what we have Claypool at 52.5 receiving yards. I think that's a bit low for him because he's just the guy that they use to stretch the sideline. He catches one ball down the field for 35 yards. That 52 is going to look like a gift.
All right. That sounds like a plan. So there you have it. You have a review for yesterday. You got a couple different ways to attack your DFS core and a couple winning props highlighted by Deontay Johnson. So thank you, everybody, for hanging out. Tyler and I will be back with a NFL rundown tomorrow, and we will go over early looks on size and totals, see if there's any advantages we want to bet early in the week. But as we've seen, waiting can be helpful as Aaron Rodgers got rolled out, right? Kyler Murray got rolled out. A lot of things changed between the Tuesday and Friday show. But we'll give our early looks, give our early thoughts, and see where Tyler is looking. And, of course, in that show, we will discuss Thursday night football props. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out. If you want the official core from Titletown, you're going to need to head over to runpuresports.com. Use the promo code GETBETS. You'll become a member of both Run Pure Sports and Run Pure Bets. You'll get access to all the plays, all the discords, and, of course, the premium live shows. So thank you, everybody, for joining. Check out the website. Give us a like. Subscribe to the channel. Share it with your friends. And Run Pure.